we're going to see how far this here goes before we run into some major problems. If it manages to go up on Rumble, I'll be utterly amazed. I'm talking, there it goes. Ha! Well, ain't that special. We'll just remove that right on out. And I will have to go in and completely rebuild that whole system again, I suppose. But such is the nature of the universe.
3, 2, 1.
And here we go.
On my own, here we go.
If you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror.
The communists declared that the real differences among our people constituted the weakest and most vulnerable point in our social fabric.
It's MAGA country.
This is no hoax, ladies and gentlemen. I urge you to run for your lives while you can. We're not making this up just so we can take over the world.
The old dinosaur media isn't dying, it's dead. We are the new media. This is our world now. Lay down and die.
Peace was never an option.
So if we don't step up and win this culture war, then who the fuck will?
Let's wake the fuck up! We're gonna get naked.
No. I'm locked in here with you.
You're locked in here with me.
That's what you've been waiting for. Be the one we need.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Global industrial complex.
Yep.
Uniparty.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
The point is to destroy Western civilization from within using Maoist technique.
So therefore you have to vote for me.
I don't know. This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Woke is Marxism, evolved to attack the West.
Stop giving up.
It's only just begun. Now!
Do it! Yes, you can!
I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move.
Just do it!
Are people bitching about that?
Some people.
Of course they are. Oh, fucking A. All right, got it. Yeah, too fucking bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Far left conspiracies, to be honest with you.
Ain't no single entity going to swoop in and save the day. You are going to be continuously let down if you place all of your hope into one individual. Instead, look inside and look around. We're doing this together.
We all are fighting for the same thing, and we all see the same problem.
It's time to stop being an NPC, get off your ass, and join the meme war.
Shame! Shame!
No, I don't like you.
Shame!
If we were in the wild, I would attack you.
I'm sick of it, man. I'm fucking sick of it. I will not do it again.
Thank you.
I wonder how many people feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Be the beating drum at the head of the growing creative cavalry charge. Be vocal and profound in your passion for projects you enjoy.
No more excuses.
I've seen it. I can't even compute all of it. It's so fantastical. You've not seen nothing. You ain't heard nothing. You ain't smelled nothing like this. I don't have words to tell you.
A new world order.
We are in the beginning of a mass extinction.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make. Hey, wait a minute.
You control population, you destroy the family, and then you you sow division.
You don't need a destination when you're running on an omnidirectional treadmill.
Are we ready for a new world order?
You'll never defeat the human spirit. You'll never defeat God. You'll never win.
Pray that he is watching. Against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you.
On my own, here we go.
I'll do it myself. Yep. I'll be doing tonight, folks. Welcome to Monsters by Design, where I've gone and dug up some of the creepiest, crappiest people that I can find on the internet. We're going to laugh at them. It's probably not something we should be laughing at. I never really cared what other people thought in the first place. I mean, if I did, I probably wouldn't have a YouTube channel. So, did you know this doctor one time tried to put goat nads in the guys to get their to pop up at the right times, you know? Didn't work out. Joe Cool, you're welcome to come in on this one. I got the Ape Canyon thing at the end of it. Just, I don't know how the hell to give you this. I'll drop the link in chat if you want. What's truth? You're welcome up too if you want to. You know how all this works. This is all reactionary as all get out. We're going to look at these stories. Now, fair warning, this first one was uploaded on April 1st. So the big old grain of salt involved in that one, maybe like a crystal ball sized one. I don't know. You're on sick leave. Does that mean you can't? Well, if you can't get it up, then like, oh, sick leave. Gotcha. Actually, no, that's not right. The Ape Canyon Massacre is actually the last one in this stack. If you got something else you want to go do, come back and check on me. That's up to you. This first video is about a dude who put goat nuts in people. The second video is about a dude who killed his entire freaking family, apparently because God told him to, but he's supposedly a genius. The third video is the Ape Canyon incident, I believe is what it's referred to as. And it's the one I was trying to describe to you the other night, and I couldn't quite keep it together in my brain. What's up, freaking? Welcome in. Let's roll back through chat right quick, see who all we got coming in here. Did you know it is actually illegal for me to say the word boy? I think it's because of all that 1950s trauma. I don't know. Swiss and Smoking have been chilling, talking. Anarchy TV gets the gold. Welcome in, bud. Richard, a stonemason, not a Freemason, gets the silver. And you might be a little surprised who gets the bronze. Dennis gets the bronze. Welcome in, Dennis Bugfoot, my friend. Came across a dude named Sasquatch the other day, and it just tickled me pink. I thought it was funny as all get out. Welcome in, Joe Cool. I wish I had his light laugh on tap. I'd hit it right now. I got to get that, though. I'm going to do it. I promise. We got some Joe Co Cop Squatch in here. Welcome in. You know, man from Kansas. Slow Burner. That's who I miss. What's up, Slow Burner? Welcome in, bud. Good to see you again. All right, y'all ready to check out some crazy, absurd guy with the idea of putting, into people? Like, what? All right. What's up, Michael? Good to see you, bud. At what point in time are you sitting around during your medical conditioning and you decide, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put goat testicles in the men. They're going to be randy as hell. I don't see it, man. I do not see getting from one point to the other. Is homie sitting around smoking some of that good Chiba, watching the goat scrump going, yeah, man, if I had a couple of goat nuts, I could scrump like that too. I don't get it. This seems to be something that is harmful, not helpful. I mean, I understand they didn't know all of the, immunoresponse type things we got going on, but this is from the name of it, damn it. Dire Trip. Dire Trip does all sorts of content. Most of it's weird stuff in general, like things that you can't necessarily explain. What's up, Snark and Sass? Boop beep. A goat scrote. That's right. That's what we're talking about tonight. I mean, I'm sorry I brought this. I'm not sorry in one little bit. See, if I have to see it, you have to see it. And that's where we're at today. So, Dire Trip. Go check them out. All the links,
no medical.
All the links are in the description, all the everything, all that stuff. And in the After Dark section, which I'm not sure I'm going to be, Yeah, no, Joe Cool gets it. Yeah. Right. See, my man be thinking. I don't care how hazy his brain might be. He's still thinking. He's not one of those guys who's out there ironing the wrinkles out of his brain. Thank God. All right, giggity. Let's actually do this thing.
The license made millions of dollars over years and years by transplanting goat balls into people. And that's only one part of his bizarre story. Happy April Fools, everybody, and feel free to skip through this part if you don't like introductions. I put timestamps in the timeline below. But for those of you sticking around, let me explain a little bit. I don't really like to fool my viewers with some kind of dumb clickbaity thing on April Fools. Instead, I like to just cover a goofier case that I probably wouldn't have covered otherwise and get drunk while doing it. Last year, a lot of people thought my combination of Coke and vodka was really gross, and I got bashed in the comments like crazy.
Oh my God. Oh, I mean, yeah, I'll do it. I will shoot, but I'm not going to mix it. You don't mix vodka and Coke. That's a sin. Whew. That's one of those. Thank you, Jack Daniels. Old number 7. You know what I'm saying.
Crazy for that. So this year I decided to make something even more gross. So I went for a combination of this limited edition Peeps marshmallow flavored Pepsi and decided to pair that with Fireball because I don't know, that's just what I had. So I haven't
Oh my God, this man's going to get so sick. Did you hear that? He's mixing Peeps Pepsi with Fireball. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable, sir. Do better. Do better. Just do better. Get some help.
actually dug into this yet. Let's see if it's okay. Oh, it's actually good. Okay. Well, that's pleasing. I wasn't looking forward to drinking something toxic this whole time. So that's a win. Alright, now let's get into this weird-ass story. Part 1. The beginning. Our man of the day, John Romulus Brinkley, was born in 1885. His father was a man who almost shared his same name, John Richard Brinkley, who was a very poor man from the mountains who practiced some form of medicine both during the Civil War, on the Confederate side, and in North Carolina.
Yes, yes. It is Pepsi and Peeps mixed with Fireball. And he said it was good, which just leads me to believe the man is deranged. He needs help. Someone should do a welfare check on him. I'm sure wherever he's at, he's smearing his poop on the walls and banging his head and licking the windowsill. I mean, get him a helmet and a fork with a cork on it.
He was a character of a father. His first marriage was annulled because he was underage. Really eager to get married, apparently. Once he became an adult, he married again. 4 times total, actually. He kept outliving each of his wives, who were actually much younger than him.
Welcome in.
When he was 42, he married a woman named Sarah T. Mingus. Sarah T. Mingus. Then Sarah's niece, who was also named Sarah, moved in with them as well. The family called this second Sarah, the niece, Aunt Sally, in order to avoid confusion. Sarah gave birth to John Romulus and then passed away later when he was about 5.
Dude, can you imagine having that name growing up? What's your name? John Romulus? I'd throw in a Rex at the end of it just to make it sound even more badass. What's your name? John Romulus Rex. What? Right? What they gonna say to you? Damn, that's pimp.
5. Aunt Sally decided to stay with the family and moved all around with them and kind of helped them fight against poverty. Then John Sr. died when John Romulus was only 10 years old. From now on, I'm just going to call him Brinkley. The young Brinkley then started...
All right, so John Romulus is Brinkley, correct? Have I got that right? I hate it when they do this, because later I'll be thinking somebody is somebody else and I won't know what the hell's going on. I've been blamed his dad for the goat balls.
Started going to a very small school, just a little log cabin, for 3 or 4 months out of each year. He was bullied and teased by a little girl named Sally, not his Aunt Sally, a different one.
Oh my God. Sarah, Sally, Aunt Sally, little Sally, some dude named Brinkley who might be his own grandpa. I'm not sure where this dude's going. I wish he would stay sober when he did these things. Probably help.
Originality in names wasn't important in this time in
Blue
history.
uniform? Welcome in.
He continued his school career until he was 16 and he graduated. He grew up and started a job carrying mail between a few local towns and learned to use a telegraph as well. His true dream, though, was to become a doctor. Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Part 2. Getting the...
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Career going. When working with his telegraph, Brinkley went on to move to New York City, and then again to New Jersey. Then in 1906, he went back home after hearing that Aunt Sally wasn't doing too well. And she wasn't. She died on Christmas that year. While back in town, he came into contact with the other Sally, the girl who bullied him back in the day. Apparently things went much better this time around as they ended up getting married the next year. This was when Brinkley decided it was...
I don't know, man. I married my stalker. It might have been a situation like that. Now she beats me when I ask nicely.
It's time to man up and start his career as a doctor for real, but not in the way you might think. He and Sally started traveling around the area posing as Quaker doctors in backwoods towns all over the place.
I think he meant to say quack doctors in backwoods, which makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I can see that. Quack, right.
They would show off the medicine that they made, and I use the term medicine very lightly, and kind of trick the townspeople into buying them because, they were gullible. They'd never seen anything like that.
So we're talking snake oil salesman. We're talking along the lines of, here, have this jar of laudanum. It's the best thing ever and completely non-addictive. And you can quit anytime you want to. And no, you did not just strip all of the copper out of your neighbor's house for another bottle of it.
That Brinkley decided to take it up a notch and moved out to Knoxville, Tennessee. This is where he teamed up with a man named Dr. Burke and sold virility tonics, which were
probably cocaine and some Vitaformin.
or medications that he promised would increase fertility and libido. This all took place over the course of 1 year. At the end of the year, Brinkley and Sally decided to settle down in Chicago when their daughter Wanda was born. Brinkley decided...
This goes back to a previous episode. Y'all remember the Vanilla Skies incident? Hold up. Where's that at? It's right there. Look, there's no buildings behind these buildings. Where are the buildings?
Chicago when their daughter Wanda...
Why is there nothing up there? There's just smudges and stuff. There's nothing in there. There's a tiny little bit over there. I'm not even sure that would be considered background there.
Was born. Brinkley decided to do his best to get actual medical qualifications, attending Bennett Medical College, which was an...
Okay, Blue Unicorn. Quack was coined by Rockefeller to discredit plant-based medicines. I have no issue with that. The meaning of the word quack still stands, and these assholes were quacks. Quack, quack.
Uncredited school with a curriculum that many felt was questionable, as it usually focused on pseudoscience medications. Either way, he worked as a telegrapher at night and went to classes during the day. He wasn't making enough to pay tuition and care for his family, though, and the debts were quickly piling up. They had another son during this time, but he only lived for a few...
If MLH has some, serious hardcore cop activity, we might go peep on him a little bit. I'm not above a little bit of a stream snipe.
Few days. Not the biggest expense. At school, Brinkley started learning about subjects that would really go on to change his life in the future. He looked into glandular extracts and how they affected the body. He felt like he could really...
So, when I pictured this part of this experience of him looking into glandular extracts, I'm wondering what method he utilized to acquire these extracts. Because I've got this picture of a Mexican dog and pony show.
He utilized this to further his career. With this newfound motivation, he doubled down and started taking 2 shifts every night, working as hard as he could. Much to his dismay, he came home one night to find that Sally and his daughter were gone. She had run off somewhere and filed for divorce and child support. Brinkley complied and paid for about 2 months, but he pretty quickly got sick of that, kidnapped his daughter and ran away to Canada with her. Sally tried to get them extradited from Canada, but couldn't get it done. She gave up and dismissed the whole case for alimony and child support.
I'm going to tell you, I feel like I might be able to drink this kid under the table on an empty stomach. I might be able to trade shots for beers with him. I kind of feel like if we went to a bar together, we would be leaving separately because I would be leaving on my feet and they'd have to call an ER for him.
Afterward, Brinkley felt it was time to return to the U.S. And believe it or not, the couple reunited and tried to make it work. The year was now 1911. Right before Brinkley finished his third year of school, Sally left him once again and birthed their new daughter, Erna, back home in Tuckasegee. Brinkley decided to leave Chicago, said screw it to his unpaid...
Wait a second. Tuckasegee. Yeah, that does. Everybody say Tuckasegee. Tuckasegee. I like that.
Tuition and just ignored it. Then he went back to North Carolina to be around Sally and the kids. He started working, calling himself an undergraduate physician, but couldn't really get his career going.
This is the face of a man that you can truly trust to really screw your health up. Like you have no idea, but you're going to learn.
So he and the family started moving all over the place, from North Carolina down to Florida, packing up and moving all over again multiple times over the year. With this life, not really working out, Brinkley decided it was time to work on his education again, this time studying in Missouri. St. Louis, to be exact. Never having...
What a strange thing. It's like somebody came along and just part of the city. Or I guess maybe this, well, no, obviously it was at one point in time built up and has since been raised. I'm so curious now.
Having paid his last tuition, though, he was never able to get his records sent to any of these new schools. They all refused him entry. So once again, he said screw it, and instead bought a certificate from a diploma mill, a place where you basically pay to get a shady degree almost immediately. This degree was...
No, not him. Couldn't be. he certainly wouldn't, con anyone with a fake degree, like Harvard.
This is, of course, not legit at all, but it looked real enough. Then in 1913, the family had yet another daughter named Naomi, and they moved up to New York City again, but then back to Chicago again shortly after. Brinkley, stubbornly refusing to give up on the whole doctor thing, had thoroughly pissed Sally off by this point, and she left him. For good this time, and I actually mean that, and headed back to North Carolina once again.
So it seems to me that North Carolina seems to be his honeypot. That's where the good things happen to him. Oh, y'all both in North Carolina? Well, y'all had somebody in y'all state with goat testicles. How about them apples? Or goat testicles, for that matter.
Brinkley almost went back to be near her, but he missed and ended up in South Carolina, it seems. This was when he set up a business with an equally shady guy, a dude named James E. Crawford. They called their shop the Greenville Electromedic Doctors. And
ladies and gentlemen, if you ever come by anything that claims to be a doctor in a strip mall, just skip it. Especially if they involve electromedic doctors. I just can't.
And kept on hawking the virility treatments that Brinkley had grown accustomed to. The, quote, medicine they were actually selling was actually nothing more than water with a bit of food coloring, which they would inject into people at about $25 a pop, something around $700 in today's money. They told them that it was electric medicine from Germany.
Also known as a mix of laudanum, cocaine, amphetamine, and liquor. Which, I'll be honest with you, I'll try at least one shot of that shit. And if it don't kill me, I'll probably go back for more because it's horrifically addictive and going to ruin my life. So I probably shouldn't do the first one.
After about 2 months, the two partners abruptly packed up and bailed, and they left the town with a lot of unpaid bills, like utility, rent, clothing.
All right, that reminded me. I'm not going to do this on the whole YouTube side of things. I would rather do this backstage in private when I drop the link later. Somebody needs to remind me in the After Dark about Fuck It All. I had a buddy of mine who came up with a formula for a drug he called Fuck It All. I'll explain all about it but not right now.
Supplies, really everything. They didn't pay for anything. They left about 30 to 40 local businesses high and dry with a lot of unpaid bills and ran off to Memphis, Tennessee, an area that Crawford suggested. Apparently he used to deal there too. Part 3. Building a
Gypsy and
Life.
Vanilla Gorilla. Good to
Out
see
in
you.
Memphis, Brinkley
Welcome
came
to
to meet a 21-year-old woman at the time named Minerva. He called her Minnie because Minerva sounds like the name of a dietary supplement. She was a friend of Crawford's and a daughter of a local, legitimate doctor. After dating for 4 days, the two got married at a nearby hotel. There was a problem, though, as Brinkley was still legally married to Sally.
I don't think this is going to be as much of a problem as you believe it is, kid, because this man's already selling drugs and skipping out on bills and jumped states, bought a freaking degree. So chances are, I imagine he'll be able to do bigamy as well. Shouldn't be a problem.
Brinkley, frankly, did not care, and the two went on a honeymoon to Kansas City and Denver.
Hold up. Did you see that sign? Check this out. Gunsmith, watches, clocks, and jewel repair. What a skill set. I guess it makes sense. They all kind of work with small littles, you know.
And the two went on a honeymoon to Kansas City and Denver and Pocatello and Knoxville. It was a fun time for sure until Brinkley was
T. Tobias and Son. I think it says $100. Yeah, I don't know.
arrested, that is. The police caught him in Knoxville and sent him back to Greenville, where he ended up being put in jail, arrested on charges of practicing medicine without a license and for writing bad checks. Brinkley told the cops that the whole thing was all Crawford's fault and even snitched on the details of his business partner's shady dealings.
So basically, he pointed at the guy that wasn't in the room and said he did it, and then ran away for the state line.
So they went out and arrested Crawford and Pocatello too. The two men then had an awkward meeting in jail together. The two ended up settling out of court with all the angry merchants out in Greenville. They had to pay out several $1,000s to the men, which would have been a whole lot more in today's money. Brinkley's new father-in-law actually helped, but he only paid about $200 to the cause. Brinkley then bailed out of town as quickly as he could and met back up with his new wife in Memphis. They ended up having a son together. Sally, though, was pissed. Again. She came...
Go figure. A woman who ran out on her husband was angry when he got remarried. How hard did he try to find her? I mean, what's up, Ben T? Welcome in. Good to see ya.
Home and confronted the two, telling Minnie that they were actually still married and that Brinkley was a bigamist. You know, a guy who marries multiple women. Seemingly unfazed, the Brinkley and Minnie couple moved out to Judosnia, Arkansas, where Brinkley yet again got a, quote, undergraduate license to practice medicine.
Pretty sure this one was on a payment plan, though, because he was strapped from having to pay out for all the previous frauds.
This time around, he decided that his specialty would be diseases of women and children, apparently wanting to lay off ancient Viagra for a while. This venture wasn't too profitable, leading him to join up with the Army Reserve Medical Corps. After that, another doctor was going to move out of state and offered to let Brinkley take over his office. He gladly accepted, made some alright money, and was finally able to pay off his old medical school debts. Could it be that he was going to turn over a new leaf, finally go legit? Yeah, stick around. In 1914, the Brinkleys moved out to Kansas City.
At this point, I think this man has about the same chance of going legit as an apple does of floating in his face.
And decided to, this time around, enroll at the Eclectic Medical University there to finally finish out his remaining studies. He came to research the effects of enlarged prostate glands in elderly men, further increasing his interest in glands. He paid the university about $100, or something around $2,700 in today's money, and graduated. This was in 1915, by the way. The diploma he got from this school would automatically allow him to practice medicine in 8 states. He decided to stay in Kansas City and took a job as a doctor there, usually just patching up minor wounds. However, he also studied animal physiology.
That sucks, Blue Unicorn. I hate it when that happens. What's bad is he doesn't even know it's happening until after he comes back out of it. Everybody's like, dude, what happened? And then he has to go through the whole thing like 27 times because people keep coming in going, dude, what happened? It's still great fun, though.
Biology. This was when he first heard people saying that the healthiest animal...
I'm trying to decide whether these evil creatures are responsible for this situation, or the heinous individual named John Brinkley, because that just looks nefarious to me.
What they slaughtered at the nearby plant was the goat. This piqued his interest in goats, which would combine with his previous interest in glandular effects. This got the man scratching his chin at an idea. Brinkley, seemingly doing well, was still left with the problem of his previous marriage being a thing that existed. Many urged him to divorce his wife.
That is very accurate. Michael Haywood has gained the participation trophy of the evening. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that.
And after some pressure, he decided, yeah, it was probably for the best. He divorced her later that year. He didn't do it in an honest way, though. In order to prevent Sally from hearing about it, he told the court that he had gotten married in New York and that he didn't know where she lived now. Being that this wasn't even true, the court never heard from her and the divorce was basically no contest. It was finalized in 1916. 4 days after that, Brinkley and Minnie got married for real this time in Liberty, Missouri. Brinkley was supposed to wait 6 months after his divorce to get married again, but he wasn't exactly known for doing things the legal or responsible way. Brinkley's world was shaken when he realized, oh yeah, he was in the Army Reserves, and oh yeah, a world war was going on. He was sent into the war and had a nervous breakdown. He was there for a little over 2 months, not really doing anything aside from being sick, and then he was discharged. Once he got back to his wife, the two...
Did y'all notice that? Every single one of these old photographs you see, right, have nothing, not even trees, nothing. Now, I admit, this is no man's land, but this is the kind of effect that you expect when a photographer has gone over his own work and eliminated background to make the foreground more present. What's up, Jason? Welcome in.
And then he was discharged. Once he got back to his wife, the two moved out to Milford, Kansas, seeing that the town needed a doctor. This was where peak chaos would take place. Part 4. Things get nuts. In
I see what you did there.
1918, Brinkley was opening shop in Milford, scoring a 16-room clinic. The people there actually loved the guy, saying that he paid good wages and really helped out the local economy. He even made house calls out to his patients, even during the 1918 flu outbreak. Just by the effort he put in to heal his patients during this difficult time, the people were loving him. It was around this time that a patient came up to Brinkley, asking what he could do to fix a man who was sexually weak. Brinkley, having heard that goats were the healthiest farm animal, and having heard that goats were pretty horny animals, got a bizarre idea. He responded to the patient by...
I still say homie was sitting around drinking his big dick potion. He was peddling out there, smoking a big fat Chiba stick over here and staring at goats scrumping, going, yeah, man, we're going to make men do that.
Half-jokingly, saying that the patient wouldn't have a problem if he had a pair of goat balls in him. Now, this was based on nothing more than assumptions about goats.
Look at the evil in this animal's eyes. You know he's been plotting this since the dawn of time.
Nothing really medical in nature. But to his surprise, the patient said, yeah, let's do that, and started begging him to perform the operation. Seeing dollar signs and not really giving a flying fart about ethics, Brinkley said, sure, I'll do it for $150, and the man actually paid up. The operation was then performed. The guy didn't die, so they felt, yeah, it wasn't good enough. Then he got asked to perform that operation more.
The guy didn't die. So, kudos on at least one successful attempt. Scapegoat. So we're going to do it more. Was there any benefit whatsoever from the previous operation? Did anyone even ask? Does it itch? That's my question.
And more. By this point, Brinkley realized it was a complete cash cow. He started implanting more and more goat balls into people, both men and women actually, for about $750 a pop, which was up to $10,000 by now. The operations were half-assed, to say the least. He didn't actually hook the balls up to the new body or anything. He just made a shallow incision under the skin and shoved them in there. He claimed that he was hooking them up to blood vessels and all that, but he actually just kind of crammed it in and called it good. Of course, they failed to actually graft to the body. They didn't actually do anything, but the people felt that they did. It was all power of suggestion. The people could feel that the thing was in there under the skin, and they just assumed it was hooked up and working, and they liked it. They felt it was in working condition, and they felt it was doing its job.
All right, so men and women had goat balls inserted. Where? Did he ever mention where he put the goat balls? I mean, like, that would be quite, I mean, you don't want it on your forehead, right? Do they experience pain? Hey, Alpine Gulch, welcome back. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming through. I mean, did it develop a smell? I mean, these people start sweating, like goat smelling crap. I don't know.
All right, one down. Given that Brinkley didn't have the best medical education.
Wait a second. That man has only drank one of those, and he's been stumbling over his words worse than I am on a 6-shot bender. Pfft, that's not great.
With most of it being based on pseudoscience at an unaccredited school, and that he often showed up to surgery completely drunk, things didn't always go well. He didn't really make it a point to sterilize the operating rooms either. A whole lot of people ended up getting infections, and an unknown number of them actually did die. Brinkley ended up getting sued more than 10 times in wrongful death suits between 1930 and 1941, but this didn't really affect his business. On the contrary, business was doing great. A while later, his first transplant patient ended up having a baby.
Boy, if this man had a little bit of antibiotics and some alcohol, he'd been hell on wheels, wouldn't he? If he didn't just even tried a little bit. Ooh-wee.
He felt that this was going to be amazing for advertising. The ads pretty much wrote themselves. He started claiming that goat balls were the cure-all to all sorts of different things, anything from farting too much to erectile dysfunction to dementia. He got an agent to make his ads and started sending them all over the place, telling mostly men that goat nugs would make them into real alpha males. This got him a huge amount of publicity, which was both good and...
I bet he would sew them right to your forehead if you wanted him to. He doesn't seem to have a whole lot of scruples to speak of. I mean, he's married to 2 women. He's bought several degrees, which is, modern, par of the course. He was very progressive.
And not good. Good for business, bad because it got the attention of the American Medical Association. They sent an agent of their own out to investigate the whole thing. They came in to find a woman hopping around who had just been given goat ovaries as a cure for a spinal cord tumor. He didn't need to see much more. From then on, the AMA would keep a close eye.
I thought we were talking about goat balls. I mean, goat ovaries for spinal cord problem. Yeah, I don't think so.
Hi, I'm Brinkley. And now, enter a man named Morris Fishbean. Above anyone else, Morris Fishbean made it his job to take Brinkley down, becoming his arch-rival over time. Morris was a guy who made it his business to expose frauds in the industry, and Brinkley just might have been the biggest fraud he had ever seen. Around the same time, though, other doctors started taking an interest in this operation themselves, leading to one who even implanted monkey balls into people. Monk nuts, if you will. That man demonstrated his surgery to a bunch of doctors in Chicago. Brinkley, seeing himself as a pioneer in the industry, showed up without an invite. They didn't let him in, but it was great press, and it led to his own demonstration there a year later. He shoved goat blobs into 34 different people, all while the press was able to watch. This only grew his already prolific profile even more. However, in 1922, Brinkley would go on to make a real bad move. Harry Chandler, the owner of the LA Times, invited him out there and asked him to transplant a goat boy into one of his editors. He told Brinkley that this would make him the most famous surgeon in the country. The operation was a success, not meaning that it actually accomplished.
Hey, kid. And I'm talking to the doctor, not the goat. Come over here and take this kid. Take his balls off. Put it in my editor. I want to see what it does. Editor, how do you feel? Great. Total success. Print it.
Accomplished anything, but meaning that the editor at least didn't die. This got him a place in the paper and even attracted the attention of celebrities in Hollywood. The real mistake came when Brinkley was smitten by the city and decided to relocate his clinic out there. However, the California Board of Medicine did not approve his request to practice medicine out there, noting that his resume was filled with lies and holes and less than truthful claims. The man who pointed out these inconsistencies to the board was none other than Morris Fishbean himself, going out of his way to take Brinkley down. This all did nothing more than damage Brinkley's image in the end. He went back to Kansas, defeated, but not unmotivated, and decided to expand his clinic there. Part 5. The Downfall.
All right. Let's be honest. We all saw this coming. My question is, though, this placebo effect, apparently people were leaving good Yelp reviews or something. I mean, I don't understand how it is that somebody leaves with a goat's nut sewed in them with no blood vessels through it, and it doesn't end up an absolute freaking disaster. How did not every single person in this hesitate to call it study? Like, this is madness.
One thing Brinkley did while he toured LA was to see a radio station that Chandler owned out there. He loved how easily this could be used to market and pump out ads, even though advertising on radio was kind of frowned upon at the time. By 1923, he saved up enough of his own money to build his own radio transmitter out in Kansas, KFKB, using a small transmitter. That year, a paper in St. Louis published an expose about diploma mills. This led Kansas City to publish their own shortly after. This brought a lot of bad attention.
Bro, I get what you're asking about staph infection, but it wouldn't have to be a staph infection. I mean, anything in that type of environment would have been absolutely deadly. It's crazy.
Attention to Brinkley, and it's where his visit out to LA really came back to bite him in the ass more than ever. In San Francisco, a jury ended up handing down 19 indictments to doctors who received these fake medical degrees. Given how much of a fuss Brinkley had given earlier, he was smack dab in the middle of their radar, and he was one of the first to get one of those indictments. California asked Kansas to extradite him out, but the governor of Kansas, Jonathan M. Davis, actually denied the request. Brinkley was making them way too much money. Brinkley took this as a victory and hopped on his radio station to brag about how he had defeated the AMA and, more importantly, Morris Fishbein, who had written many journal articles about...
Hold on a second. Correct me if I wish Flow State were here. You could tell me. If he's simply not being extradited, he's still under indictment, correct? Which means if he goes to an extradition state, they are very likely to extradite him if they find out he's there. Or does it have to be requested? Because I mean, they wouldn't know he was there. I don't know. Tell me, Chad. I have no idea.
Brinkley being a quack by this time. Brushing off the whole incident, Brinkley was making a bunch of money at his clinic, more than ever, and people were coming from all over the world to get his operations. He also kept yammering on over the radio.
What's up, Cynthia? Welcome in. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming by.
He viciously slammed men for being sexually feeble, pathetic in comparison to their ancestors, weak excuses of wiener havers. This was all in a ploy to get them to partake in some goat nuggies. He also played a lot of
He's starting to get a little sloshed. His jokes are getting better.
country and gospel music. This advertising actually worked wonders. His business exploded in revenue, and the whole town of Milford saw the benefits. He paid for new sidewalks, got the town electricity.
Oh, hey, Scotty. Welcome in. I didn't see you. I missed you. My bad. There you are. What's up, bud? Do you see, do I even need to bring it up? I mean, you notice down here, you can see a bajillion miles. Up here, there's nothing up there. I mean, there's not another wire across the street over here. There's just nothing there, man. No clouds, no sunbeams, nothing.
He built new apartments, built a new sewage system, and even a new post office. The people loved him to the extent where he was made an honorary admiral in the Kansas Navy. The town even named their baseball team the Brinkley Goats. I'm not even kidding. Brinkley did realize that he probably needed some new medical credentials, given that he had been coasting on that diploma mill trash for quite a while now. He headed out to Europe to do so, hoping to get some honorary degrees. The UK shot him down, but he did manage to find a school out in Italy that would give him one. Goddamn Fishbein got word of this and pressured the Italian government to reconsider. None other than Mussolini himself revoked the honorary degree shortly after. Brinkley didn't care, though, and he treasured his revoked honorary degree for the rest of his life. Fishbein was more than ever determined to shut Brinkley down, castrate him, if you will. He started finding more and more people who had gotten sick or died after getting these operations and wrote scathing articles about Brinkley. The only problem was that only other doctors really read these articles, and they already had a pretty good idea that Brinkley was full of crap anyway, so he was really just preaching to the choir. Brinkley, though, was preaching to the public, broadcasting radio ads into their homes every single day. The difference in publicity when it came to public perception was huge. Brinkley had another son at this time, causing the public to wonder if he had partaken in a ball or two himself, to which he denied. He said that he didn't need one, but other men did. In fact, they were great for pretty much everyone but him. He didn't need them.
It's kind of like the Swiss Navy, ain't it, Blue Unicorn? It's like, what do? Swim around in a freaking pond? I don't get it. Yeah, they're on the river just going buck wild with their battleships. I don't see it.
He started a radio show called Medical Question Box, where he would answer medical questions from his listeners. Most of the problems they might have had were solved with some good old goat balls, or possibly some super overpriced over-the-counter medicine he produced. These medications alone were getting him almost $12 million a year in today's money. But more and more of his patients were getting sick and dying. The very company that made his medications begged Fishbean himself to do something. He said that the AMA didn't really have any power over Brinkley, unfortunately, aside from raising awareness. The Kansas City Star got a radio station that ended up competing with Brinkley's and ran a bunch of hit pieces on him. In 1930, the Kansas Medical Board finally buckled and realized that they needed to hold a hearing to finally decide what to do about Brinkley. He had at least signed death certificates for 42 people who were completely healthy when they first showed up to his clinic. Many more were believed to have died beyond those 42 he signed for as well. They decided to, finally, once and for all, revoke his medical license.
You don't say. So after thousands of people are running around with goat balls in this country, they decide to revoke a medical license that is still debatable on whether or not he ever actually got. Yeah, that seems legit.
Brinkley was distraught, but at least he still had his radio station. Well, he did until 6 months later when the Federal Radio Commission decided not to renew his broadcasting license.
It's a witch hunt. They want my goat balls.
They deemed that his show was nothing more than a glorified 24/7 hour commercial, which violated various treaties. They even said that his Medical Question Box show was harmful to the public, especially given that he didn't have a medical license after all. He tried to sue the commission, but it didn't work. The courts upheld the decision to deny him a license, with the KFKB Broadcasting Association versus Federal Radio Commission case becoming a very well-studied case in broadcast law. Part 6. A Career in Politics. Brinkley was, as you may call, super butthurt at the loss of both of his licenses. He decided to fight back by going all the way to the top and becoming mayor of Kansas himself.
Mayor Kansas. I'm getting some really strong Wizard of Oz vibes off this dude. Like, I feel like he's not very far from a voice recorder and a curtain.
This would allow him to appoint his own medical board with blackjack and hookers and get a whole medical team that he appointed to give his license back. While he still could, he used his radio station to campaign for himself until he no longer was able to. He got Roy Faulkner, the biggest country music singer on his station, to help him campaign and made a bunch of vague promises, like a lake in every county, free textbooks for kids, and education opportunities for black people. In addition, he promised lower taxes and retirement pensions. When a newspaper reporter ran an article bashing him, he sent the guy a goat. He even got a pilot to deliver him by...
I meant to bring that up at the beginning, y'all. Folks, listen, y'all need to go batten down your hatches, lock all your windows. We got a full moon tonight, baby, and it is the wolf moon itself. Werewolves of London. They're going to be crawling the streets tonight, fellas. So lock up your daughters, hide your wives. They're coming for you.
Playing to all of his rallies just pretty much to look cool. And it worked. People loved his publicity stunts. He waited too long to declare that he was running, and the ballots were already made, so he had to be a write-in. The Kansas Attorney General realized that they could use this and decided to rewrite the laws on what was considered a write-in just a little bit. They made it so that votes would only count for Brinkley if they were written in one very specific way. J.R. Brinkley, perfectly like that, and any other votes made for him would not count, even if it was perfectly clear who they were for. Even still, he got 29.5% of the vote, losing to Harry Wood.
Dude, holy shit, did he miss his calling or what? If homie had took a left instead of a right and ended up in a politics bindle at 29, hell, if he'd have done it at 35, he'd have probably become president of the United States and we'd have a one world government today. Jeez, we dodged a bullet on that one, fellas.
Woodring. Between 30,000 and 50,000 votes for Brinkley were thrown out, and even Woodring himself admitted that he would have lost if those votes would have counted. Brinkley did run again a few years later in 1932, this time getting 30.6% of the vote, but still narrowly losing to the Republican candidate at the time. Giving up on that darn Kansas, Brinkley sold his radio station to an insurance company and moved on to his next target, the Mexican border. Why? Because he could go.
I promise you a pond in every town. I will give you your children free textbooks. Your black people will learn. You will have goat balls in every single man. We will include the goat ovaries for every single woman. Fantastic sweetmeats. Hell, I almost want to vote for him.
Just slightly over the border and open up a new radio tower with a power high enough to broadcast all over the US, all while avoiding their pesky laws. He put 2 of his underlings in charge of his Milford clinic in his place and headed out. He decided to live in Del Rio, Texas, which was right on the border. He started becoming quite a Nazi sympathizer around this time and continued to detest the US laws for blocking his successful goat ball business at
Go figure. A man who likes killing people.
every turn. He was determined to find his success through a new country. Part 7, Mexico. The Mexican government wasn't too chill with the USA at this time, given that they had divided up all of North America's frequencies and not given them any. So they were more than happy to set Brinkley up with a 50,000 watt transmitter just to screw with them. He called this his Border Blaster station and set it up right.
And he was one of the earliest, online trolls. This dude was really cutting edge, man. We might need to relook at this goat balls thing. Maybe he was onto something. I don't know. It's not his fault if the techniques weren't available properly.
Right across the border, a short drive from Del Rio. Fishbean and the US government tried to find a way to shut Brinkley down, but there wasn't a lot they could do beyond pressure the Mexican government. The government...
He's got goat balls, she's got goat balls, but he's got the biggest goat balls of them all.
Bent for a while, shutting down construction, but that only lasted a few weeks, and things were soon up and running in 1931. Brinkley's first item on the agenda was to run for governor again, but he lost again in 1934. Undeterred, he asked to be allowed an even higher powered transmitter. This was allowed.
We've got clouds. We finally have clouds in an actual photograph type thing. There's things in the sky. Check it out. Kind of looks like UFOs in the background there.
He was given 1,000,000 watts, making his station the most powerful on Earth by a huge margin. He could even be heard in Canada on a good day. He went back to his old routine of giving terrible medical advice and selling products. Usually,
all right, Blue Unicorn, I know what a Bezor is, but I bet you 85% of the people in chat don't know. You want to throw a little explanation down since, you're all typalicious and everything tonight?
Usually towards less than confident male listeners he would prey on. He opened up a clinic in the hotel where he lived at in Del Rio and started doing prostate operations.
That is a bad sign. I want to repeat something I said earlier. If you come across a doctor operating out of a hotel, don't. Nothing. I mean, you might be able to get some decent drugs from him, but I wouldn't even go that far, man. Disavow. Drugs are man. Okay.
There, giving him a whole new field of medical malpractice to dive into. He branched off into ripping people off in other ways too, such as selling less than reliable life insurance. He also sold them simulated diamonds, i.e. fake diamonds. He also sold fake religious items such as, get this, autographed pictures of Jesus. People really believed that Jesus would have autographed paintings of himself that weren't made for hundreds of years after he died and sign it in a language that didn't exist yet, but he was able to sell. He got so many acts to show up on his radio channel that it ended up being called Hillbilly Hollywood. Not the most respectable name for a channel with medical.
I think I'm gonna clip him saying Hillbilly Hollywood and keep it in my my intro. Because that just tickles me.
Advice, but it was working. Okay, calming down. Many stations in the US started following Brinkley's channel model, so the Federal Radio Commission had to ban all sorts of practices on the radio. These were things like mind readers, fortune tellers, and other kinds of mystics. So they, again, copied his model and moved out to Mexico themselves, with 11 of them popping up by 1932. Brinkley kept commuting back to Milford to keep an eye on things, broadcasting over the phone. So Congress had to pass a law banning this practice as well, calling it the Brinkley Act. So he just started pre-recording.
Dude. Who was the guy that was responsible for half the rules written in racing? You know, in NASCAR racing, there's this one dude out there who cheated so many different ways that they actually had to write a book of things you're not allowed to do in a race car. I can't remember the dude's name, Robert something.
His broadcasts and doing it that way. He decided to ditch Kansas altogether by this point, closing down his clinic for good. He booked out 3 floors of the Roswell Hotel in Del Rio, using most of it as his new clinic, but also living there with Millie. Part 8. The End. Finally, for real this time. In 1934, it finally happened. The Mexican government took away Brinkley's broadcasting license due to pressure from the US government. Mexican soldiers showed up to the radio station to shut it down, so Brinkley ran off to one of the competitor stations, one of the ones that had copied his model previously. He kept performing the odd goat nard implant here and there in Del Rio, but he had mostly shifted towards doing what he called vasectomies and prostate rejuvenations, after which he sold his own medicine for aftercare. The business.
So I'm getting this impression this guy spent an awful long time, an awful lot of time with fingers in various people's anatomies and bungholes. Lots of fingers in bungholes. I'm telling you, he was very, very progressive. This man, he was on to something. If he'd been in California, he'd have been fine.
This actually thrived, allowing him to open up another clinic in San Juan, too, where he specialized in colon operations. Just piling on the specialties. He had become rich enough by now to build a massive mansion for he and his wife on 16 acres of land. He had a dozen Cadillac cars.
I bet you do, Em. I bet you know the owners of all the hotels in town.
Huge garden with a fountain, his own greenhouse, all sorts of animals from the Galapagos Islands, and a huge pool as well. He was really living the life until another clinic started cutting into his profits by offering up some competition. He decided to try to get the city to shut that clinic down, but they refused. So he got pissed, closed down his Del Rio clinic, and moved out to Little Rock, Arkansas. But then his competitor opened up their own second clinic in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, about 150 miles north of Little Rock, cutting into his profits there as well. In 1938, after years, Morris Fishbein once again stepped into the fray. He published a brutal 2-part series of articles called Modern Medical Charlatans, which featured Brinkley prominently. He documented every shady step of his crazy career, spanning 2 countries at this point. Here is where Brinkley made his final, what I think is his most fatal mistake.
Yeah, that dude, he, all right. So one day before a race, they found out he had a deflated basketball in the tank. And what he would do is, I can't remember how it went exactly, but they removed the fuel line from you know, the nipple on the tank to the fuel line up to the engine, which was all that was pretty much visible. The rest was like inside stuff. Anyway, it was hidden on purpose. The reason it was hidden was because he had a 2.5 or like 2-inch fuel line. It went from that little line to he probably had 5 gallons in that damn hose, and they unhooked his fuel line and measured the tank and was really confused. And after they I think they disqualified him from an upcoming race. He got pissed, got in the car, and drove off with no fuel tank attached, and made it like 10 or 12 miles to his hotel before he realized that the fuel tank had been unhooked. Not that he ran out of gas, just he realized. That's so balls.
He decided to try to sue Morris Fishbein. He claimed $250,000 in damages, which is almost $5 million in today's money. That's two. The trial took place in March of 1939.
Okay, we all know why this video is about to end. It's because he's too tanked to continue.
It only took
Look at his eyes, man. They're starting to go all Whitaker eye.
a few days for the courts to rule in favor of Fishbein, saying that nothing he said wasn't true, even going on to say he should be considered a charlatan and a quack in the ordinary, well-understood meaning of those words. The jury then fired a huge volley of lawsuits back at Brinkley, worth about $3 million in today's money. The IRS got word of this whole thing and started investigating him as well, noting that his spending was a little odd. Brinkley was forced to declare bankruptcy in 1941, the very same year that Mexico decided to close down the competitor radio station that he was working at. Not even ending there, the U.S. Post Office Department started investigating him for mail fraud as well. He was just screwed from...
All right, I know why he was being investigated for mail fraud. I guarantee you, after those people came in and got their Nards and left, other people were sending him letters, and he's been suggesting goat Nards to everybody for the longest time. I'm talking like 30 years of back fraudulent letters. Oh my Lord, this man's going to be buried under a freaking felony.
Multiple angles.
Blue Unicorn gets it. He was actually a woman.
And then, ironically, Brinkley became a patient in a clinic himself. He had 3 heart attacks in a row and had to get one of his legs amputated from the poor circulation. In 1942, Brinkley passed away, completely broke, with his reputation tarnished. Some would say that Fishbein had finally won, but others would point out that Brinkley caused his own downfall in the end. Brinkley was finally buried in Memphis, Tennessee. But John Brinkley's legend lived on. After all, he was the subject of important legal landmark cases and had a whole law named after him, along with numerous other rules that were put in place specifically to counter his insanity. He even...
I'm going to take this video out to my pops and show it to him and be like, be proud of me. At least I don't have a law named after me. Come on, man. Give me a little credit.
Had other terms named after him, like goat gland, which was a term when people would cut sections with sound into silent movies to make them more marketable. He's been the subject of several books, movies, and documentaries over the century as well. His mansion out in Texas, called the Brinkley Mansion, is actually still in existence to this day, designated as a Texas historical landmark. In 2017, his grave was vandalized, with the angel on top of it being broken off and stolen, leaving, appropriately, a ball behind.
He's got big balls.
Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm sure that this video is going to do crap for views, so thank you to those of you who stuck around. If you liked it, feel free to like it. If you subscribed it, feel free to subscribe it. Follow me.
I might have to steal that clip too. If you like it, feel free to like it. And if you subscribe it, feel free to subscribe it. Okay. All right. You're fixing to see the most intelligent interrogation ever. 197 IQ. He planned absolutely every aspect of this escape. He's got it all figured out. He killed them all. He's dealt with all the evidence. He will be free as soon as this questioning is ended. I promise. That's the plan. That is how it's going to work. He is smart enough to pull it off. No one, I repeat, no one should fear for this man.
You're going to be under arrest for capital murder.
This is 39.
And he's a flawless actor with massive chops.
Year-old Michael Payton, a scientist working for Raytheon in their rocket science department.
Red flag. Working for Raytheon. You can't trust him. What's up, ATL? Welcome in, bud.
Michael perceives himself as somewhat of a genius, but as you will soon see, not even a scientist can get away with murder. On February 19, 2021, Saline police officers rushed to the Patton family residence in response to a shooting. Little did they know they were about to be thrown in for a loop by the scientist. Michael had called 911 to allegedly confess to murdering his wife and 2 kids, along with their 3 dogs and 1 cat. However, when officers arrived on the scene, Michael, who was standing outside with his gun, changed his story and now claimed he didn't know if his wife and kids were still alive. Firefighters would enter the house to find Michael's wife, Tamara Payton, and his teenage son. And
at this point, I would like to invite anyone who happens to see the StreamYard and chat up here. If I know you, I'll let you up. It doesn't have to be Sasquatch Seals guests. But if I don't know you from Adam's Barn Cat, I'm sorry, bro. I might let you in and talk to you and see how you is, but you know, you do even the slightest little sketchy thing and it's not even personal.
Daughter already dead from gunshot wounds. Due to Michael's new claims, the police weren't sure if the 911 call was a prank call, and Michael is being framed for murders he didn't commit, or whether he had done it himself, regretted, and changed his mind. Nevertheless,
You want to tell everybody who you is and what you do?
ALT Transparency, taking down all the dirty cops that protect child predators.
Damn right. I dig it. Go check him out. And it's ATL, not ALT. He's in it. He's already taken his medication for the night.
Michael is detained and brought down to the station for interrogation, with Detective Joshua Armstrong heading it. With the detective's expertise in cognitive techniques and no evidence to go on, the interrogation...
All right, Em, when you start beating up your mic, I'm going to mute you. Do not get angry at me. I have stuff happening over here.
How do I sound?
Somebody's echoing out there somewhere. Some kind
I'll
of
mute you if it's me.
Testing.
I have my one mic off, so it's not me.
Is it me?
We're good. We good, folks? We good in chat? Cool.
What about now?
We're good. I think we're good.
Okay, so right when I click the link, we're talking about Raytheon. So
not even
for Raytheon,
I'm not joking. Not just let's do this thing. Your mic is clipping out like crazy, dude. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It is a little bad. Hi, ATL.
Yes, we are not trolling you, Em. I swear to God, every single mic you own is either trash or being beaten like a redheaded stepchild.
No, we're trolling you.
Oh, damn it.
I don't have time to troll you, but your mic is cutting in and out.
All right, we're going to try this again, ladies and gentlemen. The smartest man to ever murder someone. Take 2.
A genius scientist against an expert detective, making this one of the most absurd cases I've ever seen.
Let me get the person that's going to swab your hands real quick, and then we'll do that and get those handcuffs off of you, okay? I'll just sit here and wait. Okay, you need something to drink or anything? Please. Water, okay? Anything. This one's so confused.
So he's going for the insanity route.
Obvious.
Michael, was that quick enough for you,
I just
bro?
want to point this out. If he was real smart, he would already ask for a lawyer. You have me in handcuffs in a small room. Lawyer, just throwing that out there now.
Lawyer. Accurate.
Usually Mike. Usually Mike. Okay. Can you stand up for me? I'm going to get them handcuffs off of you, okay? This is who I was talking about was going to take a swab of your hands. Okay, are you okay with her doing that? And do you have any injuries to you right now? Are you hurt anywhere, bleeding anywhere, cut anywhere? No. Okay. Well, do you mind standing up right here on the swab? You've got a bruise right here. Is this old? Yes, it's a couple days old. Couple days old. Okay. Anything on the back side? No cuts or anything like that? Do you mind if I let your shirt up for it? You got a, can't tell if that's a scratch over here. You got a cat or something at the house? 3 dogs and a cat. It looks like you got maybe a cat scratch over on one side. Probably the puppy. Puppy? Can I stand for a minute? Yes, sir. Absolutely. Go ahead. You were sitting there for a long time. Give me just a second. Here's your cup of water, Mark.
Why does anyone trust a cop?
This guy's doing it because he thinks he's smarter than everyone outside of this room, which is a problem.
It doesn't matter if you're smart or dumb. No matter what he says, the cop is going to portray that as some kind. They're going to put some kind of negative connotation on every comment he makes. It doesn't matter if it proves his innocence or guilt. The police are allowed to use any word that you use and to present any word that you use to a jury.
Yes.
So they're going to put a negative connotation. If you said, I want an apple, they're going to somehow, make that sound like wanting that apple makes you want to kill someone. So
exactly.
They're allowed to use that like that because, you're notified of it. So,
yeah, ladies and gentlemen, plead the fifth, ask for a lawyer. That is Sasquatch's final suggestion.
Yes, I spent 9 years in prison.
And
That's good advice. Very fucking good advice.
Yes, sir.
And I want to say this.
How is it food?
Exercise your Fourth Amendment when it comes to them testing your hands on whatever they want to test your hands for.
Yeah. Actually,
Did you get good food in prison?
when I worked in the kitchen and when people sent me food from home.
Yeah.
Michael seems disoriented and uneasy as he paces around the room. Not long after, Detective Armstrong starts by questioning Michael with basic questions, such as,
that man terrifies me. If he came in and sat down across from me and started asking me questions, oh, hell no. No, sir.
No, you know what that is right there? He's a Levite. He's a Jew. That's what Jewish people look like.
Stop it.
Certain Jewish people, not all of them. A certain tribe of Jewish people they all look like that.
I will also mute you. I've already said stop it twice.
All right.
the type of work he does. This is done intentionally to judge if Michael is lucid and conscious. If so, then we will know if the confusion we see is all just an act or not.
And obviously I think you've got some questions that you were trying to ask me a minute ago.
Too, but I don't have any rest. I feel like I need somebody to help me with what's going on, because I don't have any idea what's going on.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, neither one of us have an idea of what's going on right now either, because we haven't spoken with you yet. If that makes sense.
Yes.
So we really don't know. We don't know what's going on. I think our hope was that you would help us figure out what's going on as much as us help you figure out what's going on.
I don't know what happened.
You sound really short of breath. Do you have asthma or medical condition or anything? Or are you just tired? Or
I'm stressed out.
Just really stressed.
Oh, dude.
I just want to clarify before I ask you any questions or you ask me any questions. You said you did understand your rights. You do want to speak with me, correct?
But I don't know. If I start getting overwhelmed, I want somebody that...
You can stop the interview at any time.
He already looks guilty. I mean...
Yep, he won't look up.
What was your question? You were trying to ask me...
Right. So they found this man standing in his driveway with a pistol with the statement that I don't know if they're still alive or not, being his only made statement up to this point.
Yeah, a lawyer's going to have to do some miraculous work to get him out of this pit that he just dug.
That'll be his first miracle. We're working on getting that lawyer canonized, bro. 2 more. All he's got to do is trip over some water and it's on.
It doesn't help that he's overweight, because a jury is going to look at a fat guy as all automatically guilty. Image bias.
Yeah, all of it, dude. There's almost no way to land in front of a jury and look innocent. That's impossible. I mean, even little blonde-haired, blue-eyed girls sitting over there look guilty as hell in that defense seat.
Yeah, but if you got a very attractive blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl, in front of a jury, you got a guy like this in front of a jury, who do you think they're going to find innocent first, regardless of the situation?
Right. I mean,
all of it's about eye contact. If you can look somebody in the eye and maintain contact while you're delivering your story and what you're telling, not look away, not look down, not look fidgety. You got to be confident in what you're doing, like a salesman, man. Simple as that.
Tell that.
Otherwise, if you can't smooth like that, keep your mouth shut.
Tell that
yes, no. Yes, no.
Bro, tell that to Charles Manson. The Manson lamps ain't no joke, dude. Him looking at the jury like that did not help him.
Well, yeah. Well, that's a unique.
Well, he looked like a wackadoo now. That means shit.
Yeah, that's complete. You can't compare Manson to anyone else.
Well, my aunt does that shit with her eyes too. She looks crazy. She looks like she's fitting to pop out of her skin. Her eyes are always like that. And then when she really gets excited, man, I swear, it's like you think she's fitting to explode or something. Everything. It's crazy.
Did she burn a swastika into her forehead?
No, but she did shoot my uncle.
Moving on.
That's some questions when we were coming up the stairway.
Anger issues.
Well, he stepped out on her with a 19-year-old.
Yeah,
what's happening?
Shit like that.
I don't remember what happened. I remember working this afternoon. What do you do for Raytheon? Configurations. So basically, I make sure everything's right before it gets released. Drawings or documents or what. I really don't know what Raytheon does. What is it?
It designs shit.
Defense, missiles, aerospace.
So are you still employed? Is Raytheon is a private contractor? It's contracted through the government?
Contracts and stuff, yeah. Okay. Mainly government contracts.
What is it that you do for them?
The configuration stuff. I run a meeting every month with the Navy.
The detective then asks Michael if he has
do what?
Probably a proofreader. Just checks tech, details and shit. Detail tracker, shit like that.
Makes sense.
Ever been in the military, curious to know his background.
Is it like classified type of stuff, or
my classified, or I've been cleared classified, but I don't work on a classified program currently.
Okay. Forgive me, I don't know much about. I wasn't in.
Much about. I'm still learning.
How did you get in? Were you in the military? Is that how you got into that, or?
I got correct my degree.
Is that something anybody can do, or like, do you need some kind of? What's the degree in?
My degree is engineering physics.
Okay, so that's why that's the physics part of it.
Not necessarily for what I do right now, but I can use it. I understand electronics and schematics.
Yeah. I don't understand any electronics or schematics. Were you in the military at all?
I was in the Marine.
How long?
All right, I want to point something out right here. Look at how this officer is sitting, this detective. He has his hands turned in, his thumbs laid parallel, his elbows pulled in as tight as he can get them, and he has hunched down as far. That man's 6'5", and he is hunched down as far as he can in that chair without actually looking like he's trying to creep away. He's trying to make this guy feel like he's in control of this situation through body language, and he's really, really good at it. Am I crazy? Do you see what I'm saying? I mean,
What is his name?
I mean,
usually
The investigator's name?
can't remember.
Was it Horowitz?
I can't remember. I don't even. No, there's virtually nothing.
Goldman's Goldsmith.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
How long were you there? 6 years. 6 years. And did you get deployed at all?
Intro prep for deployment, so I didn't go. I hurt my ankle.
Bad or
Sprained it real bad enough that it delayed me past shipping out, so I didn't.
What you and the detective do not know is that Michael had a streak for lying about his achievements. He's known to have allegedly spoken about the various battles he was a part of while in the military, but now Michael has decided to tell the detective the truth. It's not certain, but it may be that he does not want to risk lying about small matters and instead focus on hiding his crime.
you got a pretty impressive background between the Marine Corps and then the Raytheon stuff.
Try.
Well, tell me a little bit. I don't know anything about you, Michael. I'm trying to piece together the puzzle. I think the same way you are. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, what do you like doing? What's your family like? And who, I mean.
Wife and I have been together since I was 19 and she was 18. We have 2 kids. She's a nurse. Her daughter's a swimmer. Pretty good. Son's high functioning autistic, but he manages some days. Other days that or all doesn't help. I like music.
You collect vinyl? A lot of it?
I just started not too long ago, probably 2 years ago.
How much do you think you got?
40, 50 albums.
Oh, okay.
I'm not hard.
This reminds me of the type of guy who has 17 copies of the White Album. And probably 7 copies of The Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Catcher
you got
in the Rye.
Paperback and hardback.
right? 3 hardbacks, 2 paperbacks, and 1 that he hand wrote himself.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Of course.
Like music, I like hanging out with my kids. Been binge watching a TV show lately.
You know, this guy just annoys me. I just want
I'm
to
impressed. All right. M, you did just finally fucking impress me. Show me that
Okay,
shit.
hold on.
Y'all see that?
Yeah, Mr. T.
I'm Pity the Fool.
B.A. Baracus.
Right. That was wild. I have an Alf lunchbox, a normal T-shirt from 1961, I think, 8 maybe. I don't remember. I have a set of 1920s tie-on skates that you tie onto your shoes.
You have an Alf lunchbox?
I have an Alf lunchbox, and I'm searching the universe for the Alf thermos to put in it.
I'm so, oh my God, I've been in love with Alf since since I was so little. You don't even understand. I found a Layla Star Wars Pez dispenser today.
I got it
It's
for $2. $2. I paid $2 for a vintage Alf lunchbox. And the guy that I was riding with looked at me when I set the red thing down and paid $2 and then just turned and left the flea market. I just walked away, went and got in the car, and he came out there. He's like, "What's up?" I said, "Dude, I just robbed that guy. Let's get the hell out of here."
No, you didn't.
He said, "Dude, I knew something was up because you're walking along and suddenly you stopped talking. You just went dead silent and you went and fiddled with like 100 different little things and you spent $2 on a plastic. What is that?" And then he looked at it, he said, "Oh shit." I was like, "Yeah, dude.
I fucking love Alf. Oh my God.
Joe
I
is
love Alf.
Supernatural.
You seen Supernatural? I don't know that I even heard of it.
So we've been watching that. Video games every once in a while, but I'm not into it. It's just something that occupies my time. Been getting back into working out recently, trying to better myself.
You think so?
Working out.
He's
Please.
Working out.
Lifting more hot pockets.
He's been working, getting out of bed.
He got him some Diet Cokes. He's been working out.
Shut up.
Gotta love it when a good plan comes together.
Oh my God. All right. Whenever I take over the world, you get to be my one-line writer.
So I can still old 70s and 60s shows lines.
Right, dude.
Yeah.
Right, because I could deliver them too, so.
You going to gym or doing home? Gym, but we're working on buying something for those. Like a home gym thing, you go in the garage. What, you said your son's high functioning autistic. How old is your son? 13. 13.
Here, Michael is referring to his son and daughter using the present tense as if to show he doesn't remember what happened to them, but his memory only seems to short circuit when it comes to his family, as the evil genius seems to remember things like the exact time when he started collecting music.
Say high function. There's so many different kinds of autism out there. What is his specific? He's anxiety.
There's levels.
He was kind of not antisocial, but busy social environments. He had a delayed learning. He didn't speak until he was 4. And so usually, like I said, the Adderall tends to help.
He brought up Adderall again. They're going to offer him to do a drug test.
Doesn't he?
Better.
He's very easily addicted to screens. Addicted to what? Screens, like video games, his phone, stuff like that. He does taekwondo. He seems to enjoy that. That gives him some structure. Focus. Yeah. It gives him something like specific movements and practice it.
What made you decide on this one?
Do what? ATL?
Yeah, I was wondering what made you decide on the 197 scientist gets caught for murder.
I've been wanting to do a series called Monsters by Design where different doctors, military type people, police, whatever the circumstance is, have either created a terrible experiment, been involved in terrible shit, or done something horrendous. The Monsters by Design segment was initially just for like things like Mangala, the Stanford prison experiment. And after you do one of those, it kind of helps to have something equally absurd. And this, like I said, this man thinks he's smarter than everyone outside of this room.
Well, I mean, he's pretty fucking smart.
I'm not saying he's not, but there's a big difference between intelligence and wisdom.
Right. Totally.
No,
I want to know what department of Raytheon that he worked for specifically.
Drafting or something like that. He corrects.
No,
he's like proofing. He looks over diagrams.
Okay. I know. Okay.
Shit.
Yeah, I know what
Yeah,
it is.
he's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. No doubt.
Right. Is he smart enough to outsmart every cop not in this room?
Hold on. It has nothing to do with outsmarting.
That's
the police are very regimented in the word. They're not doing anything special. They're giving them a very coordinated, very trained questioning pattern that they learned over many months or many years.
This detective is absolutely brilliant at what he does here. His body language, his coaxing him out, his showing a little interest here, a little interest there. It is textbook. I was going to teach someone, and I needed a video to teach someone how to do a proper interrogation using this technique. This is the man I would go to. I would go find every single interview he's done. I would like to find his first one because this is a work of art. He completely deconstructs this guy.
All right. And if you like Bernstein's work, you like Bernstein's work.
The detective.
What?
If you like Bernstein's work, you like Bernstein's work.
Dude, come on, man. Like, can you not take a swing once?
Well, he looks like a Bernstein to me.
In asking about the daughters is a mild confrontational technique called the read technique, which Michael seems to have caught on to easily. Anyone in their right mind who didn't know what exactly happened to their family wouldn't have paid so much attention to the detective's words as Michael seems to have been doing.
Why did you say? I'm just trying to learn who your family is. I don't know anything about them. He said how old she was. I don't know why I said that. I just trying to figure out about your family. He's really trying to figure about you, and she swims whatever events and the meets are open, and you schedule whatever events that you want the kids to swim. It's not structured. I mean, sometimes the coaches will say, "I want you in this event."
Like the different strokes and like Michael Phelps kind of stuff, like the butterfly and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's only 4 strokes.
Why do you think we're here today? I'm confused on why we are here. You don't remember anything from today?
I think of this the other day. My wife.
My man has the word home tattooed on his forearm.
Who, the big guy?
The big guy. He's got, I think that says home. What's up, Dominic? Welcome in, bud. Good to see you.
I've been working lately. We haven't been struggling a little bit. I've been trying to work on it. I was going to counseling. I haven't been in a few weeks. I've been going to counseling. And struggling Saturday night. She had one of the guns and was saying that the only way out.
So one more time.
She said the only way out was to basically catch up, and I wouldn't leave the room. And I wouldn't leave her alone. I kept trying to get the gun away from her. For 2 hours, I got it away from her. But, basically, if I called in to try to get her some help, they'd take her nursing license away. I didn't know what to do. Her best friend came over, and she ended up staying the night. Maybe that was Sunday night, because she was there all day. On Monday. And I watched it, been afraid that she was going to hurt herself. I hit the guns.
Notice how Michael avoids and refuses to meet the detective's eyes, except for when he's confronted, where he stared at him without.
I was just fixing to point that out. For a little while there, he was making eye contact. He was very sure of himself. And the very second he said was, it all went off the deep end in his brain. Welcome in, Dominic. Good to see you, bud. Ben, New York Outcast. Did I call you out yet? I think I just posted.
This is my problem here. So now let's say you take this to trial, and he's as smart as he says that he is. So this is a tactic that the police use. What was it called? The
read technique.
Okay. So why doesn't this guy get up on the stand and say, well, the officer was using this technique. I wanted to entertain him as much as possible because he has a gun and he has control over my life. So I had to find the best way.
If the man
they're trying
was
to hit you with some kind of a surprise technique, but that's not the way street language works. People don't talk to each other using the proper, pronouns and
Correct.
proper verbs and adjectives and things like this. So to actually switch to proper English, to street common language, the common tongue. And this is a big thing that the police do and prosecutors do. They'll switch between the common tongue and literal tongue, and they'll mix that up, and that's no good. And if you have a good lawyer, one that's not, part of the bar or not part of the same club, they should be able to tear that around pretty good. And we see that happening with the big politicians. The big, what is, these kind of situations.
Yeah.
And it's a teardown of language, like in Babel, if you wanted to go biblical on it. But for them to say that we have a language here, we have a language here, we have two different languages, but I'm going to use your language to get my goal.
It goes deeper than that. It really does go deeper than that, because the medical industry has its Latinesque language of things. The law industry has its own Latinesque version of things. And then the vernacular that's spoken by most general Americans, followed by the inner city languages that have developed for each of the major inner city areas. The only thing that regulates all of this stuff across the nation is, and I hate to say it, television and radio.
But see, that's what they're trying to do. I mean, and if you had a lawyer that like an O.J. Simpson kind of a lawyer that wants to get their client off of these charges, they're not going to attack on the substance. They're going to attack the vocabulary.
All right,
and that's what breaks it down.
No, I dig it. I dig what you're saying, but I'm trying to get this done inside of 2 hours if possible.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
All right, bud.
Without blinking, as if silently challenging the detective. When he has confirmed that the detective knows nothing about what has happened, Michael starts to introduce a story as to how his wife was suicidal, which would explain her death.
She worked with her or high school friend or okay. You know what Heather's last name is?
She's divorced, but I think she's still using Weber.
Heather Weber? That rhymes. So this was, you think, last Sunday?
Yeah, like a couple days ago. Sunday night, maybe.
Okay. Do you know what today is?
Friday.
Yes. Today's Friday. Okay. So last Sunday night, this still happened. Did you end up ever contacting anybody, or you just kind of let the friend kind of?
I let the friend. I've been talking to her. She was doing better throughout. She was talking to me and opening up, and that's. Thought we were doing better, and she agreed that she'd do couples counseling with me. She said that she's been waffling on it back and forth for about a month. She agreed she'd go. Told me I might not like all her answers, but that she would go because I thought it was important. And so I was going to look into it.
And so you said you hid the guns. Where'd you hide those at?
I had one of them was up in my office that I didn't use it this week, but I've been using it for a few months. In the extra bedroom upstairs. And it was up there. And then the other one was, I had hid it in a bag. I was planning on putting them in my truck and trying to find a friend to take them to for a little while until it blew over. Felt like she was better.
How many guns do y'all have? Are they both handguns or rifles? So both handguns. Do you know what they are?
So Walther, it's a 22.
Ooh, that's like a fine wine, son. Hold on, he's getting better looking by the second. Man has excellent taste.
Yeah.
9mm
Springfield. I used to have a Springfield 9mm. I traded it for.
Yeah.
like
I didn't like them until I started carrying them. I learned to love them. So.
Michael's aim is to try and paint a picture of an unstable wife who's suicidal and who might have had a breakdown which resulted in her shooting their kids and herself. He may plan to offer this as the rational solution to his family's death, but he clearly hasn't thought the plan through.
Your wife ever had any suicidal stuff prior to this week?
A couple of years ago, she had thoughts of it. Through it. We worked through it.
Has she ever had any kind of a medical treatment for it or anything like that?
She just started opening up about when she was in maybe middle school or high school. She went to counseling. Just recently told me that she was abused when she was a kid, and then that's why she's been not wanting to go to therapy with me, because she doesn't like the experience.
Physical abuse or sexual abuse?
Well, from what she's told me.
Do you know who it was that done it to her, like a family or boyfriend?
I think it was friends of her dad and maybe her stepdad.
So
she told me about one, including when she was living with her dad in Michigan. There was the neighbor. She was babysitting and woke up to him over her, and there was other ones that she didn't tell me about. She told me.
Oh, so it's like not just one thing, or not just one person, kind of multiple.
And so she's struggled with that before, and
all right. This man just said that she recently told him about this, but also said that she's struggled with that before. That she doesn't want to go to therapy because she doesn't like the experience, but she's had a very, very absurdly traumatic past. X'd it out? Anybody in chat X'd it out?
So, like I said, we worked through it. I've been trying to work through the issues that we've been having. I've never been great with sharing my emotions, and that's why I went to counseling. Trying to be a better husband, a better dad. I've been able to reconnect with my kids a lot. Like, we have a lot more conversations, and daughter opens up to me a lot more.
Have you ever read the book 5 Love Languages?
Detective Armstrong then asks Michael about his religious beliefs, again to check his memory and cognitive impairment.
What all religions was it that you studied in that class that you kind of took bits and pieces from?
Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, Hindu. I always struggle with how you classify that.
No, you might not. Did you ever read the Quran?
I never
Quran. Am I saying it right? Is it Quran or Quran?
I think it's Quran, but I've never read it. I just kind of studied what it was about and kind of some of the things that it taught.
I've got a lot of buddies that were in the Marine Corps, and for some reason it was a popular thing among them to read the Quran. But I think it was because they were deployed overseas, and it was a book that every house they went into it was easily readily available. So it was just something to kill time or whatever. So I've got a lot of buddies that that's not their religion, but while they were overseas, they read the Quran just because it was there, I guess.
After he's confirmed that Michael is indeed lucid enough, the detective starts asking Michael about the events that took place before he was brought in.
Well, Mike, can you just walk me through what you do remember from today, and that way we can kind of try to piece together why we're here today?
Working, talking to one of my coworkers, or shower. And I came back down. My wife and I were talking about wanting to buy a new mattress. The one we have is too soft. It dips really bad in the middle.
Is it normal for you not to remember your day? You feel
It happened the other night when our best friend came over. I was still awake. It was, I don't know what time it was. And they had passed out in the bed, and I didn't want intrudes or anything, so I set up the couch. Before I lay down on the couch, passed out, and my wife actually came out to just check on me, and she found me on the floor.
What happened?
I don't know. I passed out. I don't know. I was tired. I remember standing there thinking I could get on the couch, and then I woke up on my back on the floor.
You said a minute ago you had them scratches on your back. You said you had how many dogs?
3.
3 dogs? What kind of dogs are they?
2 pugs and a bulldog.
2 pugs and a bulldog? They all stay inside? They pain? It's a lot of dogs in one house.
Yes.
Why do you think you're having trouble focusing, or why do you think you can't remember stuff from today?
It's not. Yeah.
Okay, bud. Listen, it's normally covered and placed on a high shelf in the home. It's also disrespectful of them if they touched it with unwashed hands or someone of non-faith. So just as touching it was an insult. That is a very strange way to spread a religion, sir. If the rando person out there can't pick up a copy of it and read it, that seems kind of less than to me. But what do I know? I'm just a Sasquatch.
That's trouble bringing around stuff, and it's not that I do all the time. I do sometimes. It's had a really bad concussion in high school, and so my short-term to long-term memory isn't always there. That's one of the areas that pisses my wife off, is that we talk and I wouldn't necessarily remember it an hour later, and I didn't want to reiterate every go of the conversation.
Michael has once again gone back to playing dumb and not knowing what happened. He even claimed to have short-term memory loss, but the detective is not going to fall for it.
And try to go chronological throughout your day to day, from the time you woke up, what happened, what you did, what you ate, what you did for breakfast, and what you did for lunch, and what you did for work, and just kind of see if maybe you can piece together, what happened today and why we can't remember it. You remember what you ate for breakfast?
Everything.
Didn't.
No breakfast at all?
Bullshit.
Toast. 11.
Bullshit. It's fine.
Did you eat anything for lunch, or was that your lunch, the toast? Did you eat anything for dinner tonight?
Welcome in, Tiffany. Good to see you, girl. Appreciate you coming by.
Liar. He didn't skip 2 meals that day. He's full of shit.
You don't remember at all?
I'm trying.
Hmm?
I'm trying. Trying to remember what I worked on today.
Getting fat.
I'm back. I had to make some tea.
Yeah, but
Boy, this detective's got so much more patience than I do. Ooh.
man, I'm telling you, he's a master at his craft.
That's his job.
I know,
Yeah,
but still.
I get it. But there's good ones and bad ones at the technique, at the method, And
Oh,
this
yeah.
guy's absolute master.
Oh, yeah. When they go to detective schools, like when they apply to be detectives, they get special training, psychological courses and shit. Like we was talking about how he was folding up. I've seen that same shit. And I've also seen the overbearing shit where they got the legs all sprayed out and they're leaning forward on their knees, looking at you real hard the whole time.
One knee between your knees and get right
Oh, yeah.
straighten up completely and go.
Yeah, that's why you cross your leg over one leg, keep them out of your face, lean back, look at them like you on their ass.
See, if someone's putting their face in front of mine, I would just start coughing.
Yeah.
Now I just look at them with that poker face, man, like they're a turd or something.
I just like, no habla inglés.
Once a person realizes they can't fucking intimidate you, taking away half their game.
I know, but I'm just thinking germ warfare.
I mean, it is.
You're that close to me. I'm not. Yeah.
Any tactic to put you in your place makes you.
You remember the police coming to your house?
In the nuts. You know.
I remember being on the sidewalk on my face. Okay.
Detective Armstrong's patience while waiting for Michael to answer what he had for dinner that night is impressive to say the least. It's amazing how Michael can remember countless information about other days except the day of the crime.
I'm going to be honest with you. Can you be honest with me? You called 911 tonight?
Every single ounce of this detective just turned into a positive force. He's not moving much, but he went from just completely receptive to hold on. And there wasn't a hold on moment. He just transferred into it by leaning up just a hair, spreading his hands just a little bit and nodding while he's talking. He's not asking questions. He's telling you what is going on, what he thinks is going on, at least.
And he knows he's about to interrupt him. So he points his finger out like, don't go there. I'm talking. That's what he's doing. Like,
and you told the dispatcher that you wanted to kill yourself. Do you know why you would tell them that you wanted to kill yourself?
In the last 10 years, there's been 3 times that I wanted to kill myself. If I'd said that tonight, if you want me to be honest with you.
In the last 10 years, you wanted to kill yourself 3 different times?
There's 3 moments.
3 moments?
And I never did it.
What are those 3 moments?
come on, fat ass.
Before I went back to school, I got screwed over. Boss. Everything had been going really good. And I didn't see it coming. I didn't protect myself. I just didn't know if I failed the kids. They're in a really bad place as far as financials go.
And all that food you're eating.
I wasn't doing well coping with it. It was a hit to me. And there had been rumors that my wife had slept with a coworker. She told me it wasn't true, but it was just another piece.
Something else to add some stress. How are you wanting to hurt yourself today?
No.
I want to help you, Mike, but you got to remember.
Back again, water was boiling.
I'm trying to jar my memory, walk through my day. That's what I was doing the whole time I was in the back of that car.
After listening to Michael go on about his life, the detective asks him about his wife, and it seems like Michael can go from not remembering the day to remembering vivid details about it in a matter of seconds.
Other than like what she ate, did your wife work from home today too, or she going to?
She always does. She works remote.
Did she?
Yeah, it's permanent remote for her.
Did she do that today?
Every day.
What are her off days?
Saturday and Sunday.
So she worked today then. Yes, today's Friday. Do y'all work in the same room or separate rooms?
This week we worked in the same room, just trying to save electricity and heat and everything with what's been going on with the weather and stuff. And so we were trying to condense where we were so we didn't have to heat as much and use as much electricity. So I sat in the chair and she was on the bed. And we were being pretty playful and bantering. I remember that. We were sending her some playful texts.
Sending her texts like while you're in the same room?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Watch the detective. Watch his face.
We were sending her some playful texts.
Sending her texts like while you're in the same room together? Or?
Yeah, we've always done that.
Yeah, just keeping things fun.
Well, she's, in a meeting, I can't necessarily see things and stuff.
So does she see patients? Like, is she like FaceTiming patients or?
No, they contract a pharmaceutical company.
Welcome in, Graham.
Well, I think we're getting a little bit further because you remember sending text messages to your wife today. So that's
earlier.
About what time you think that was?
Early after. This morning.
Okay.
Afternoon and morning is not the same.
You remember what she was wearing today?
Sure, yesterday.
You hear that clock? You didn't notice the clock.
Rumbling ass Tommy. Oh, now he wants to log in.
Because I'm in so far over my head, I don't know what's happening.
Okay. That's perfectly your right to do so. So we can get you an attorney and then.
He almost said that seems logical. As if he was utterly amazed he had managed to get this far into this conversation. I would have done that hours ago, bro. I would have been screaming lawyer in the back of the car. I'd have been screaming lawyer when I was standing outside on the fucking phone.
Yeah, exactly.
When I hit 911, I'd have been like, I'm going to need a lawyer.
Yep,
Oh, wait,
yep,
no,
like,
sorry,
actually,
there's dead people in
I
my
got two
house.
phones. Calling 911 and calling a lawyer on the other one. Fuck that.
No, me and my wife will sit side by side in a chair and text each other. I don't know why it's a holdover from back when we used to have flip phones. And
I know, I do that too, but he's bullshitting. It's obvious.
And we would be sitting in a room full of people, like 10 people sitting around, and we'd want to have a separate conversation. And hell, at the time, everybody else was sitting there playing Snake. So, it didn't look weird. And I'm a raunchy old bastard. So
you have an attorney.
If he was a genius, he would have never talked to the police without a lawyer in the first place. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that Michael is clearly guilty and he's just playing a really silly attempt at deceiving the detective. But
that detective is an absolute
Jump would have asked for a lawyer.
Right. Call 911 and ask for a lawyer.
Forrest Gump would have asked for a lawyer way before then. Forrest Gump would have
asked for a lawyer.
What's your emergency? Yes, I need a lawyer. That's my emergency. I need a lawyer right now.
Sir, why did you call 911? Because I need a lawyer.
Well, the first step is you're going to give me a police ride to my lawyer. The next step is the lawyer. You're just the person I need to call.
Well, man, Grim.
Hello.
You're
There's
just-
things I could tell y'all folks about being safe and sneaky things you could do.
Grim's not here just in time to talk us out. So you ready for it, bud?
Perfect timing.
Yeah. Tell everybody what you do, what you
Hello,
do.
everybody. And sorry?
Tell them your
Tell
thing
'em.
that you do. Yes, sir.
Tell them the thing about what I'm doing about the Grim Reaper Network.
Yeah.
It's just a group of people who want to know the truth and also stand up for their rights. Because the only
fucking brilliant
person, by the way, protect your constitution as if it's your best friend, because otherwise you're going to lose it. And just to let you know, I do text my missus, and she's in a different room, usually working.
All right, everybody. We're going to go backstage. Links over there. I'll take in as many in as possible, and I'm going to tell you the ingredients to fuck it all. So I hope it works out for everybody involved. And bye.
Peace out.
And here we go.
On my own, here we go.
If you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror.
The communists declared that the real differences among our people constituted the weakest and most vulnerable point in our social fabric.
It's MAGA country.
This is no hoax, ladies and gentlemen. I urge you to run for your lives while you can. We're not making this up just so we can take over the world.
The old dinosaur media isn't dying, it's dead. We are the new media. This is our world now. Lay down and die.
Peace was never an option.
So if we don't step up and win this culture war, then who the fuck will?
Let's wake the fuck up! We're gonna get naked. No.
I'm locked in here with you.
You're locked in here with me.
It's what you've been waiting for. Be the one we need.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Global industrial complex.
Yep.
Uniparty.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
The point is to destroy Western civilization from within using Maoist technique.
So therefore you have to vote for me.
I don't know. This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Hey.
Woke is Marxism, evolved to attack the West.
Hey!
Stop giving up.
It's only just begun! Now!
Do it! Yes, you can! I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move. Just do it!
Are people bitching about that?
Some people.
Of course they are. Oh, fucking hey. All right, got it. Yeah, too fucking bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Far left conspiracies, to be honest with you.
Ain't no single entity going to swoop in and save the day. You are going to be continuously let down if you place all of your hope into one individual. Instead, look inside and look around. We're doing this together.
We all are fighting for the same thing, and we all see the same problem.
It's time to stop being an NPC, get off your ass, and join the meme war.
Shame! Shame! No, I don't like you. Shame! If we were in the wild, I would attack you.
I'm sick of it, man. I'm fucking sick of it. I will not do it again.
Thank you.
I wonder how many people feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Be the beating drum at the head of the growing creative cavalry charge. Be vocal and profound in your passion for projects you enjoy.
No more excuses.
I've seen it. I can't even compute all of it. It's so fantastical. You've not seen nothing. You ain't heard nothing. You ain't smelled nothing like this. I don't have words to tell you.
A new world order.
We are in the beginning of a mass extinction.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Hey, wait a minute.
You control population, you destroy the family, and then you you sow division.
You don't need a destination when you're running on an omnidirectional treadmill.
Are we ready for a new world order?
You'll never defeat the human spirit. You'll never defeat God. You'll never win.
Pray that he is watching. Against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you.
On my own, here we go.
I'll do it myself. What are you doing here? There are 11 people still sitting around back here that are just staring at some random asshole screaming at them. I don't get it. Don't y'all have lives and children and stuff? I mean, go wipe your baby's ass. Go do something with your life. Oh my God.